A brand new BMW Convertible, the ultimate driving machine on a sunny afternoon in the ultimate driving location. Pacific Coast Highway in Southern California. Palm trees, the beach, and ocean breezes flowing through your hair. It doesn't get any better than this.
Or does it? There are rumors that things are not well at BMW, that quality is down, that their designers have lost their minds, and that the ultimate driving machine no longer is so ultimate.
To find out if there's any truth to those rumors, I'm going to take you on a drive in our 2021 BMW 430i Convertible so you can see what $60,000 will get you from BMW these days.
In Germany, things run like clockwork. The trains run like clockwork. The clocks run like, well, clockwork. And every 6 years, BMW models get refreshed with a design that's evolutionary rather than revolutionary. New BMWs carry the history and design language from their model line's heritage.
And just like the driving experience in a BMW is smooth and without surprises, so are the visual updates to new models. It's all very BMW-like, solid, reliable, and a tad conservative. And that's how it's always been done. At least until now.
The new 4 Series is a dramatic departure from the looks of the previous 4 Series. While the BMW badge still looks the same, pretty much everything else looks different. The biggest and most obvious change is the completely new grille. It's enormous and much more aggressive than anything we've seen on the BMW for a long time. And it's hugely controversial.
With lots of other brands having switched to the massive grille design, it seemed inevitable that BMW would go there eventually as well. And I really liked the way they did it. I was a skeptic at first, but I started loving the design very soon after taking delivery of the car. It looks modern and fresh, and it definitely sets the 4 Series apart from the 3 Series, which is something that was a major priority for the designers. My beef with the design instead lies at the opposite end of the car. The new taillights look like something we've seen a million times already, and they fail to stand out in any way whatsoever. They do look slightly better on the Coupes due to the presence of the C-pillar, and better still on the M4, but overall they're forgettable and not up to BMW standards. With the awesome taillights we've seen from BMW and other models recently, the ones on the 4 Series are a huge disappointment. Of course, one thing that never disappoints is the light button, and if you would take a second to gently nudge it right now, I would really appreciate it.
The second most obvious change to the car is the return of a soft top in place of the foldable hardtop. I like the old hardtop. I liked it a lot. It elegantly addressed the visual issue where most soft tops look like an odd add-on when they're closed, and it made the car feel more like a solid roof coupe on the inside.
But the hardtop was also heavy, mechanically over-engineered, and it limited the trunk space significantly, so it had to go. The new soft top still offers excellent looks and a great and even more roomy cabin experience, and the noise level is now so low that you often forget it's not a hardtop. The new design also allows you to open and close the top while going up to 31 miles per hour, and that's 50 kilometers an hour for our international viewers, something that comes in handy surprisingly often. The canvas top is also 50% lighter than the old metal top, and for those who like numbers, the one-button top operations take a scant 16 seconds to bring the outside into your car and 17 seconds to seal you back into your comfortable cocoon.
You do still have to hold the button down the entire time, at least in the US, and the button still works the opposite of all logic in that you have to push it down to open the top and pull it up to close things up. But those are minor nuisances that you get used to quickly. At first glance, the new cockpit design also looked fresh and modern. I really like the red leather and the contrasting details in our car, and the cabin feels much larger than in the outgoing model. But I'm disappointed in the quality of a lot of the materials used in here. The aluminum trim could have been sharp, but instead it looks very plasticky, and the same is true for the wood veneer pieces. Some of the controls in the cool new shifter do have a somewhat expensive feel to them, but they're still plastic as well.
The center console looks like it has been completely redesigned, but when you take a second look, you can see that it's actually just a realignment of the old console with some small visual adjustments, more of a cosmetic refresh if you will.
There's also a new but retro-looking rear view mirror. I think it looks okay, but it seems kind of lonely as it's the only retro-looking piece on the entire car. Digital dashes have been creeping into the BMW lineup for the last several years, and all remnants of analog clusters have now been removed. There could be obvious advantages and appeals to this approach, but this implementation is a disaster. The elegant feel that has always signified BMW is non-existent, and instead it has been replaced with a user experience nightmare that seems like it was designed by a 5-year-old with a video game addiction. There is zero logic to the color choices and layout of the main cluster. The screen is glare-prone, and the digital gauges are impossible to read accurately due to an abundance of shadows and flares around the indicators.
The tachometer and speedometer have also been designed to be perfectly hidden behind the top arc of the steering wheel. You can, of course, adjust the steering wheel, but unless you opt for an expensive options package, it's a manual adjustment. That just doesn't seem right in a $60,000 car.
BMW has always had way over-engineered and quirky AC controls, but the programming is now more complicated than ever, like how the frequently used sync button is now buried inside of a menu instead of on a button. On the flip side, the GPS system is easy to work and the implementation of voice commands is stellar. You simply talk to the system and it figures out the rest.
Directions to Newport Pier.
Which one of these destinations should I select?
But after that, complications arrive again. The GPS info is showed in 3 different places, and they are all different in their design. On a recent road trip to San Diego, I found the directions displays so confusing that after missing several turns due to the ambiguity, I eventually turned the system off. And that's a shame because it could have been really good.
Another quirky implementation is the volume knob, where the sound doesn't actually come on to a usable level unless you keep turning it until you reach 50% on the volume display.
On the plus side, our car can park itself, which is a great and useful feature, as long as you keep an eye on things, because it does go astray and attempts to jump curbs from time to time. We also have the heads-up display, which is something I have really come to appreciate ever since we first got it in our 650 convertible. I just wish they would make it so you could still see it while wearing polarized sunglasses, but at least they fixed this issue on the screens in the car. The new seatbelt presenters also seem very cheaply made and plasticky. I can't say that it's a functionality I've ever missed on any of my other BMWs, but maybe BMW's customers are having a harder time reaching their shoulder these days.
With all those issues, you might think that I'm not a fan of the new BMW 4 Series Convertible, and that things indeed have gone awry in München. But that isn't actually the case. While the user interfaces and cheap plastics definitely detract from the experience, driving the car still wins you over every time.
The engine is the same brilliant B48 platform that was found in the previous generation, and you won't hear any complaints from me about that. I loved it in the previous 430 and I love it here. The B48 gives you an aluminum block and head and a twin-turbo setup, which provides for a surprisingly playful but always butter-smooth experience. Through BMW trickery, horsepower is up from 248 to 255, but what you can really feel is the torque increase from 258 pound-feet to 295 pound-feet. Put all this together and you get a 0 to 60 time of 5.5 seconds, which is just about perfect for the nature of this car. There is, of course, a sport button, but like in most non-performance cars, it is primarily of cosmetic nature. It does change the exhaust note a tiny little bit, but with a 4-cylinder engine, it's not like you're all of a sudden going to get an F1 whale when you step on the gas.
The suspension is back to the old BMW feel, and that's a good thing. For years, BMW has mastered the balance between comfort and sportiness with firm, but never unpleasant setups. Audi has come close in the past, but you could always tell when you are in a BMW.
That feeling got lost a little in recent years, but it's back again in the new 4 Series, and driving it just feels fantastic. The 4 Series convertibles, and 3 Series before them, have always been about taking in your surroundings in style while enjoying a smooth and sure-footed ride. The 430 won't win any drag races, and it isn't a hardcore canyon stormer, but it is a comfortable and never boring place to enjoy driving with a closeness to your environment that fixed roof cars can never give you.
Since we are in Southern California, it is also a very stylish way to be seen around town, which is obviously among the top criteria for selecting a car around here. What this all boils down to is that for those few who are lucky enough to be able to afford one, the 4 Series Convertible is still the ultimate driving and tanning machine. quirks, cripples, flaws, and all. And now that we have established that, would you like to see another very cool car video? If so, I have one coming up for you right here, right now. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. And remember, kindness makes the world better.